Okay. If this crashes one more time, I'm gonna be done streaming. Plain and simple. I'm gonna post a few things to promote this. You know what? I don't care. Desktop. Okay, so... Yep, today we are doing a review for... Tobe. This... I'm gonna make a new document, transfer it over in the morning, but anyway, let's break this shit down. It's gonna be Greninja versus Joker. I am very, very comfortable into this matchup because in my region we have... Who are you? Why are you there? Leave me alone. Search. The biggest ones that I'm going to be searching for... No, I want YouTube. The biggest... What? No, I don't want that. I wanna... Oh, fun. Okay. Well. Okay, the biggest ones we're gonna be looking at is definitely going to be Ice Knight versus Raven King. Most likely this one. Ice Knight. So we're going to be looking at Ice Knight versus Raven King, Ice Knight versus MKLeo, Taric versus MKLeo, and then I believe Mo versus... Then I believe... I think Ice Knight versus Omega happened... Let me look. Omega. Hey, it did happen. I can't watch that. MKLeo, Ice Knight, Omega. Yeah, I'm just not gonna interact with chat, by the way. I don't know what... I'm too afraid, to say the least. I'm too afraid of stuff happening. Anyway, so... Is there any Tobe? Is there any, I don't know if there's any Tobe ones. Anyway, so let's start off strong by looking at MKLeo versus Ice Knight. Last game, he went Joker. Now, actually, we're going to save this one. We're going to save this set for last. So let's look at MKLeo versus Taric. This one, right here. He does. Good. Okay. The biggest things to immediately note about this matchup is the fact Greninja doesn't need to interact. This is the beauty of 90% of Greninja's matchups. We don't need to interact with our opponent. It is very hard not to interact but we don't need to. Give me like 1 second. Promo. Sick. Okay. Yeah, again, I am not going to be interacting with chat, just under the pure fear of stream crashing. So, something we because Joker's gun isn't a projectile, it is a disjoint. And if we come over here to ultimate frame data of the 9% rule, it's... I don't care, sure. Let's go over to Joker, the Jonkler, gun attacks, ground throw specials, gun. Let's look over here at... Wow, that is very interesting. Okay, base damage of 5%. Just right there. I can't highlight it, I don't know why. But now if we duplicate this and go over to, say, Greninjas. Specials. Shuriken. Come all the way down here. Base damage of 3 to 10. Okay, the biggest thing to note is that in about 90% of circumstances, medium charge shuriken or even low charge shuriken beats or clanks with gun. But now the big thing to note is I do believe Joker gun is transcendent. I don't know how to tell if it's transcendent or not, but I do believe it is. The thing is, though, is that in about most circumstances, our projectile is better. Yes, you do get very fancy movement, very fancy pokes, but at the same time, those pokes don't mean anything if you can't combo off of it. You know what we can do? We can combo off of our projectile. Every Greninja player should know at least one medium charge shuriken combo, in my opinion, or a setup. Look at this. Immediately, he throws out a shuriken because Leo can't contest it. He can only shield or nair, which objectively puts him in a worse position. The two biggest things to note is that, in my opinion, Joker has what I like to call fake disjoints. Specifically, base Joker is what I like to call fake disjoints. Because yes, if we come over here, holy hell, yes, this is a disjoint. Cool. That's a disjoint. You know what's a bigger disjoint? This. That's a bigger disjoint. That's a bit... I've never seen that happen. That's a bigger disjoint. Back air isn't a bigger disjoint. But look at that. That disjoint is fake as fuck. Plain and simple. No, I'm not saying don't respect the moves. I'm saying you don't have to worry about disjoints nearly as often as you would think. Now, look at this. Even with Arsene, it doesn't even get any bigger. It gets stronger, but it doesn't get any bigger. Let's come back here. Okay, the biggest thing... I'm jumping around a lot. But the biggest thing to note with the Joker matchup is he has comparable or faster speed than us. The only thing I believe he's not faster in is ground movement. But I can be wrong with that. So let's keep going. See how... This is the biggest weak... Okay. Let's watch this first game, then let's break it down as it goes. Alright, this is taking forever. Okay, so let's break down this interaction back here. Off stage, the weakest Joker is objectively off stage, but you can say that about 90% of characters. The tether recovery, people generally don't contest it, but going up, it isn't intangible. It's not invincible. So there is nothing stopping you from, here we are, from just sitting and stalling right here, and when he is forced to recover or he dies, he has to, he will get hit. Is it consistent? No, but it forces them to pick an option that in most situations should be favorable towards us. Let me look at stream chat just in case. Yo! Okay, hi Vortic. This is... Yes, this is an amazing set. Anyway, where are we now? Okay, so from here, you can see this. Now, something you should always do is always contest Arsene up B. It is an objectively worse recovery. Now, something that Tarek did mess up here is that. More often than not, they have to use double jumps there in those situations. Because... so if we go back, he hits it, they are always going to have to up B in that situation. We can stall, we can wait, we can go back to ledge, even. A drop down double jump up B will almost always clip their ledge hang, if you have the most monochrome of decent timing. Which is kind of where he messed up. He didn't go back and wait. Yes, he did try to force something, but by forcing something there rather than just waiting and then reacting, he gets hit. Okay, something I must tell you, everybody. Everybody is afraid of this move. I see so many people afraid of this move. It's not that bad. Please. Come on, stream. Come on, stream. Don't bail on me now. Please, baby. Please. Okay, we're good. Okay, I see a lot of people over-respecting this move. You know what we can do? We can shield it. We can jump over it. Hell, again, we can water shuriken it. it beats it out. I'm pretty sure even if we go over to Joker, go down to... This is aerials. Come over here. Arsene. Holy hell. Aegon. Base damage 1. Look at that. 1. We will always... I'm pretty sure we will always either clank or beat that move. No questions asked. It takes him 16 frames, and it takes us 20. It's 4 frames. Those, and even then, 25 frames of end lag. How many do we get on our Shuriken? 18. We are basically even in frame advantage. So a total of 52 frames, a total frame, so I'm just gonna say 20. Oh, this is insane. That's insane. Anyway, we're basically always going to be even or better in frame advantage. So don't be afraid to contest Aegon. Don't be afraid to contest the small one, either. Something I do highly recommend that Tarek is not doing, or at least not doing a lot, is staying grounded. Especially in neutral. This matchup is what I like to call a forward air matchup. Because forward air beats out almost all of his disjoints. It beats out almost all of his specials. It kills him super early. It combos. It spaces. This is what I like to call a forward air matchup. You can still use back air. Don't get me wrong. Back air, God bless. But forward air is generally going to be the better option. Because if you just short hop, fast fall, forward air, besides gun, they can't do anything. But now, that leads into a mix-up. Are you going to, when you jump, are you going to full hop, short hop? Are you going to forward air or jump over their gun and do a landing nair? Back air, down air, fucking up air I've seen. So get creative with these small 50-50s. Now, okay. Something you never want to do versus Joker that Tark did is stall your recovery. Not without a mix-up, because he just double jumped in place. Joker being super comparable in speed to us. Is there Tark versus Omega? There has to be, right? There has to be. I'll look for that in a minute. With Joker basically being the either matching us or being better than us in almost every category, there is no reason that he can't do exactly what MKLeo did and just jump up there and just back air you. Uh-oh. Okay. This is a nasty little setup. After this game, I'll start talking about stage picks and why I think certain stage picks are better than what they are. Yeah. You can see Tarek now is playing significantly more grounded, contesting those recoveries. doing forward air in neutral. Ooh, good nair. Good counter. Yeah. See, he's playing that mix-up game because in this situation, Tarek is going to jump. MKLeo realizes that, but now is he going to jump and stall, jump and back air like what he's setting up to do, empty hop, or is he going to do something else? In this case, MKLeo guesses wrong by doing that Aegon. I don't know why Tarek did that. He could have just dash grabbed. Or down tilted. Or down smashed. Yeah. Another side thing to note. I know this is going to be the definition of rambling. I'm going to be honest. If you space forward air or down tilt and forward tilt, in base Joker, I'm pretty sure Joker can't do anything to punish us. I think in Arsene, short hop nair can, but I might be wrong with that. Yeah, just doing standard ledge trapping. In my opinion, the hardest part of dealing with Joker is ledge, because to deal with ledge, you have to deal with back air, nair, and gun. For back air is going to be your biggest threat, especially at these percents, because it will either set up for an even better edge guard, or it will kill you. Plain and simple. So what I usually do is there's a very old technique that I've heard some Greninjas refer to as the lily pad. I think that's really fucking dumb, but it's essentially up B planking at ledge. So in this situation, what Tarek could have done is if he grabbed ledge, he could, if he timed it correctly, done a jump get up B left, and then up B right to push MKLeo away or shield block him, or do something else. I've seen people call it the lily pad. I think that is so dumb, but I really like it at the same time. Yeah. Something that is always good, though, is recovering low. Because Joker has to guess when you are going to choose to recover. What all moves can we use to stall? We can use up B. We can use down B. We can jump. We can use side B. We can do a lot of stuff to stall our recovery. We can do different routes. We can forward air. We can side B to ledge. We can do X, Y, and Z. I think there's a trick that I remember hearing. Don't quote me on this. Is that if you do your shuriken stall, side B, you can shuriken stall again, but only once. But don't quote me on that. Tarek is playing grounded, trying to poke with forward tilt, which is good, and trying to pick up where he can. Now this, there we go. Yeah. See, Tarek just mistimed it right there, but that was the correct option. Something else that I have seen people do is instead of doing a back air, they do a nair. It sends at a higher angle, but it also stays out longer. Let's jab. I want to go. Oh, where's my areas? Active from 12 to 19 compared to back air, which is active from 5 to 14. So that's 7 compared to... So that's 7 compared to 9. Okay. Yeah, I've seen people do Nair. I like the idea. Back air is just better in my opinion. The main reason why I've seen people do Nair is because of that hitbox, it being bigger than back airs, so and it's out for how long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 frames. Is out for 6 frames, so it does cover a decent. So it does cover a decent bit of space, and if you so. I think that's a bad option, but I've also never tried it. Here we are. Oh, that's unfortunate. But Tarek did have the right idea here. He made Leo wait at ledge. Something he could have done instead was he did have the right idea, though. Mixing up his recovery angles. He can stop using that. Oh, look at that. We could just ignore Aegon. Boop. What the hell? No. We can chase him super far up. We don't really have to deal with down gun. We literally jump over Joker. So this is... Joker doesn't want to be the aggressor. In this matchup, he has to be the... Okay. In this matchup, we don't have to be the aggressor. Joker has to be, though. Because poking with gun will only take you so far. Because what we have is objectively better. Forward throw? Oh. So, okay, something you do actively want to avoid, it is very hard, is to shield. I know, that's insane coming from a Greninja player to don't shield. Nice. But Joker... A lot of Joker's pressure comes from forcing shield options. Okay, this is going to be really weird to explain, but a lot of Greninja's... Sorry, a lot of Joker's pressure comes from his options making you feel like you have to go into shield. Nair crosses up. Back air kills and is super safe. Forward air combos. Down air combos. Forward tilt is a good poke. Down tilt crosses up. You getting wobbled with up air. A lot of characters' only option to deal with gun is to shield or avoid it. And shield, in about 90% of situations, is the better option. Greninja doesn't have to do that. We don't ever have to touch shield in most situations. Look at that. Forward air. Look at this forward air right here. This goes back on my previous point. Forward air. It beat out forward. Our forward air beat out Joker's forward air. Look at that. And Tarek gets a 40% combo off that he is then turning into turned into a 70% string, and then SDs again. Oh boy. But look at that though. All off of one forward air. We can eat Joker. People are afraid of Joker, and that is where he gets a lot of his pressure. Shield, basically making you feel like you need to be put in shield, and being afraid to contest his options. Thing is though, is that we can contest his options. I'm gonna go over to back air. Oh, they made that way tighter. Oh, I'm listening to anger. No wonder why this shit bops. Play Frostpunk, by the way. It is so good. I love Frostpunk. Okay, let's look at back air. That shit is huge. I don't think we can contest Joker back air. But you know what we can contest? Normal back air. Look at that. We can contest Arsene Nair. We can contest Arsene forward air. That shit is not a disjoint. We can contest. We can't really contest up air because if he's using up air, we're above him. So out of all of Arsene's moves, the only one we can't contest is back air. You know what back air does? You know what we can do instead for back air? Throw out a shuriken. Pfft, that shit either clinks or beats it. Look at this. God, I love Frostpunk so much. Oh! 16 damage. Now if we come down to shuriken, looks like a medium charge shuriken deals 10. That's within the 9% rule. That clanks, which now puts us in a potentially better position, because now he's going to be in more end lag. You have to respect Joker, but you don't have to respect everything he does all the time. Plain and simple. Respect him, but don't adore him, if that makes sense. Now, let's go on to stage picks. Does UFA show stage bans? It does not. Okay. I see here Tark picked FD. The stages, in my opinion, stages that you never want to go to, in my opinion, versus... Okay. The stages, in my opinion, you never want to go to versus Joker is Smashville, Battlefield, and Town. You're probably wondering, Dealmaker. Town is like one of our best stage, and on multiple occasions, you said you think it's Greninja's best stage. Well, think about it like this. What does Joker excel at? Killing off the side. Or gimping your recovery. Well, Greninja doesn't have to worry about the latter, but we do have to worry about the former. He can stay out there for a long time. He can mess you up. Back air is huge. Forward air sends at a disgusting angle. Nair sends at a bad angle. A lot of his combos are coast to coast. Not climbing the mountain. Plain and simple. Yes, we can get really early kills off of town. But at the same time, Joker can get even earlier kills. So I believe we don't go to town in this matchup. We'll watch this game, then we'll switch over to a different set. Most likely just a random Ice Knight versus Ice Knight Raven King. Or see if there's a Tarek Omega set. I think there's a Venia Tweak set out there, but that's not really modern, so it doesn't really apply nearly as much. That's pre-nerf Joker. What else is there? The stages I do think we should go to is absolutely FD Kalos. Kalos is the exact opposite of town. Bigger blast zones makes things harder to deal with. We can't really, with the wall being a huge benefit to us of us being able to SDI in most attacks, so we can usually tech off the wall. Most Jokers being really, really dumb and trying to contest us at ledge, so we can just time correctly a back air if we do a instant wall hang. The platforms are so useful, it's not even funny. FD for very similar reasons. And then most likely either hollow or small. I prefer hollow because I think killing off the top is better for us compared to Joker, who again really likes to kill off the side. So we can and hollow naturally having a really low blast, really small top blast zone is really useful for that exact purpose. Forward air. Look at this. Look at this neutral. Look at this neutral. This is just like 20 seconds. Whiff down air, whiff forward air, whiffed grab, whiffed back air, and our back air beat out his forward air. He has to guess what we're going to do when we're going to land. We can play run around Sue with Joker, and he just has to deal with it. The biggest downside in this matchup, just like most matchups like this, is getting impatient. If you get impatient with Joker, you lose because you're going to start running into his hitboxes, which means you're going to start getting comboed, then coast to coasted, and then being stuck in then getting ping ponged. Look at that. Back air. Ledge trapping. Oh, that's holy jeepers, Batman. Anyway, look at this. Tark is getting very predictable. So MKLA was calling him out. Back air. Yeah, gonna have to worry about that. We should really be watching Omega sets. So I'm gonna see if there's Tobe versus Omega, because this is for Tobe. See, post nerf, we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to deal with down gun. And he mistimed it, but holy guacamole. run circles around you. Dude, I am lagging so much on the stream. I really like that up air. I do that up air all the time. Look at that. Space down tilt. Unable to do anything. Up tilt is unironically an underrated option in my opinion. But it's 50-50. Look at this. He is playing just how basic neutral does versus Joker is being played. And Tarek is at 160. He cannot kill him. And our forward air beat out his dash attack. Oh, that's sweet tech. I forget about that. Playing good neutral. Staying out of Joker's threat bubble. You don't even have... Even the fun... You can really play this as like a fundamentals matchup. But, and even then, you'll be doing really well. This is main theme Frostpunk 2. Yeah. Look at this. MK Leo is... Look at this. Tarek is at 200%. MK Leo is desperately trying to find a kill. Nair didn't punish it. I think this kills. Yeah. At 200%. That's insane. All because he played basic neutral. But now, if you look, Tarek is getting a little bit impatient. Meaning he is starting to run into MK Leo's options. If he was playing a bit more patient, this could have been it. He could have probably saved himself a bit of percent. I'll see if I can do a stream tomorrow talking about the PC matchup. Oh, we love back air. Dude, he's going for so many footstools. Oh. Oh, wow. Interesting choice. Yeah. It's very hard to not get juggled by a Joker. So, you wanna... Okay. Is bro getting dribbled? Look at that. Look at that. He stayed out there for so long. Yes, he did die to like a down air or something. But look how long he had to wait. So he gets knocked off at, say, like 205. He's out there for nearly 5 whole seconds. And if he wanted to, he probably could have stayed out for even longer and went even deeper. He didn't, because I don't think he had the resources, but he could have done that. Forcing him to wait even longer, making him have to guess when he is going to come back up. You've done a double jump up air. You've done a double jump back air. Double jump nair. Anyway. Let's see if there's a Tarek versus Omega. Or Tobe versus Omega. Tarek versus Omega. Tarek went PT? What the fuck? One set. Okay. This is interesting. Probably beats his ass, right? Omega does? Yeah, he does. Okay. Yep. Look at this. The second... Let's see how Tark plays against the second best Joker in the world, in my opinion. Just getting these basic neutral fundamentals down versus... How long ago was this? Holy crap, 5 years ago. This is not applicable at all. Never mind. Never mind. Let's see if we can find Tobe. That... What in the hell is that? What in the fuck? Okay, so let's just switch over to Ice Knight. Ice Knight versus Omega. I'm gonna at Tobe. Is this Tobe online? Let's go for... Is it under a match face? Because... Interesting. Let me see if I can... Yeah. Anyway, this goes out to you, Tobe. I promise you. Come on. Ice Knight 1 Power, Chicago Summit, Invitational. Okay. Ice Knight versus not Omega. I want Raven King. Let's just go you. Let's see how the GOAT Ice Knight deals with Joker in neutral. This is probably his most played matchup. See, let's just look at this first game. Hellkaiser, interesting. Did they not play? Okay. This is, like, very interesting. Yeah. Again, he's using a lot of back air, but I do firmly believe this is a forward air matchup, and he's staying grounded. Who hath joined? Okay. Anyway, so now if we look over here, neutral is definitely a big issue. Neutral is the absolute hardest part of dealing with Joker. Oh, was that an auto cancel? It was, yay! But now that he's in disadvantage, let's go look at game 2. Okay, yeah, let's look at this. Boom. Run past it. Doesn't have to deal with it. Now. I don't really have anything of note. Yeah, to make sure I understand what I'm comprehending what I'm watching. Anyway, so as you can see, Ice Knight here is playing grounded. He's playing spaced because he understands that everything forward air beats everything, and Raven King has to approach, even if he doesn't want to. Look at this. Let's see. He has to approach. Yes, to get the stock, but at the same time, Ice Knight doesn't have to do anything. Once he gets even the most monochrome of a lead, he can just sit back, wait, and watch. Look how many okay, look at this. Let's count the buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 buttons in like 6 seconds. No, and Ice Knight isn't doing anything. He is just playing the most basic fundamentals of Greninja neutral. Staying grounded, playing patient, and spacing your moves. Because, look at this. He has to be able to hit Greninja. Raven King has to overextend. An overextension we can punish. Whether that just be... Look at that. He has to try to catch our landing to take a stock, which Ice Knight easily punished with a grab. He had to actively risk the fact that he was going to get hit out of the corner to do one down tilt that killed Ice Knight at 160%. For one stock, mind you. One stock where Raven King took 95 and is now actively at kill percent. All because Ice Knight is spacing his moves, playing grounded, using Shuriken to poke, understanding that that Raven King here has to overextend. Nice. Okay, now that Ice Knight has the lead, look how he is. He's spacing. He's playing a bit... Yes, he is playing a bit more proactive. Oh my god. But at the same time, he's also understanding that Raven King doesn't want to do anything. I don't think I can listen to this song without getting a copyright claim. Boom. I believe it is. Sure. Just baiting. Raven King here is getting desperate. He is at kill percent versus a character that thrives at kill percent. He's running circles around Raven King, and he can't do anything. That forward air, I'm pretty sure, was unpunishable. All because he did it fading back and spaced it. Let's go to game 3. Let's see if we can get anything to change. Back to small. Look at this. Playing patiently, spacing his moves, playing normal neutral. Granted, Raven King isn't using a lot of gun. At the same time, Ice Knight is making him uncomfortable to use gun. It's all a balancing act. Okay. Now he does need to slow this down. Oh, bad move. Yeah, Ice Knight definitely loses this game. Let's see. Holy hell. Yeah, he definitely loses this game because game 4. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at game 4. This is very much so a underrated aspect of the matchup is the fact that it's very much so momentum based. Yeah, look at this. He's spacing his moves. He's playing a bit more grounded. He's making him feel pressure even though he's not really doing anything. Okay, an underrated thing I will just say right now is this down tilt up smash here, it destroys Arsene. Look at that. He had half a bar. That alone took up almost half a bar of worth of Arsene. That's insane. So don't be afraid to just do down tilt up smash, down tilt forward air, down tilt back air, just to get rid of Arsene. Because Arsene is the biggest threat in this matchup. This matchup is literally Greninja versus stepdad and his child. That is what the matchup is. It's not Greninja versus Joker. It's Greninja versus Arsene. And the